what we are going to do today, we are going to take reference of Shishir Kumar Singh's copy that he had written a couple of weeks before the mains exam, and he performed pretty well in the mains exam, in essay paper and other papers. But let's understand one thing. This copy that we are going to look at, let's not take it as the gold standard, because even after this copy had been evaluated, he had improvised. We had some interactions, telephonic mentorship interactions, and then he had improvised even on this copy. So this is no gold standard, but a good reference point for us to learn good practices and understand our loopholes with respect to essay writing. Fine. First thing first, structure की बात करेंगे. The topic, the dummy topic that we are taking today is beauty in things exists in the mind which contemplates them. Okay. If I'm not wrong, among you guys, Soham is writing mains. उसके अलावा ठीक है, those among you who are writing mains, guys, when it comes to introduction, what do we try to incorporate in our introduction? Now, this is a general question, but I would prefer, अभी जो mains दे रहे हैं उनके पास time कम है, आपके मन में क्या होता है जब आप introduction present कर रहे होते हो? What is our motive? कुणाल, आप मेंस लिख रहे हो अभी?
यस सर.
हमारा मोटिव क्या होता है इंट्रोडक्शन लिखने के पीछे?
सर मोटिव मींस कि इंट्रोडक्शन पढ़ने के बाद एक तो बेसिक थीम सेट हो जाए ऐसे की, एंड इट मेक इट इंटरेस्टिंग कि इवैल्यूएटर उसको आगे भी पढ़े.
अच्छा, यू आर सेइंग दैट वी मेक इट इंटरेस्टिंग थ्रू द इंट्रोडक्शन सो दैट इवैल्यूएटर उसको आगे भी पढ़े,
एंड एक्सप्लेन द थीम आल्सो ऑन व्हाट थीम वी आर गोइंग टू राइट.
अच्छा, we try to explain the theme कि आगे हम क्या लिखने वाले हैं, right? Fine. Okay, guys, one minor correction here, one minor correction. Generally, हमारा perception ये होता है, we think this way that our introduction is supposed to be a hook. Introduction पढ़कर examiner should feel excited. The examiner's attention should be hooked to the essay so that he reads the entire essay with curiosity. Does that mean if our introduction is not very creative, the examiner will not read the other portion of the entire paper with curiosity, या फिर क्योंकि इंट्रोडक्शन अच्छा नहीं है बस ऐसे ही वो पेज पलटा कर मार्क्स दे देगा? ऐसा तो नहीं होता है कुणाल. This doesn't happen, right? The idea behind writing creative introductions, punching introductions, or introductions that have substance, that are heavy in substance, is to ensure that the examiner knows that we know the main demand of the question, and we are presenting and we are addressing the main demand of the topic in the very first paragraph itself. Our introductory paragraph is the first paragraph that we write. Our introductory paragraph is the first thing that the examiner is going to read as part of our essay. And by crafting a creative introduction that is relevant to the topic, it's just not creative, it is relevant to the topic, we are ensuring we are addressing the topic, the crux of the topic, in the first paragraph, that is the introductory paragraph itself. थोड़ा differentiation समझ में आ रहा है कुणाल, between presenting a hook and between presenting the crux in the beginning itself, right? अब यहाँ पर शिशिर ने क्या लिखा है? शिशिर ने बहुत ही सिंपल सा इंट्रोडक्शन दिया है. बहुत ज्यादा कुछ हाई फाई लिखने के चक्कर में शिशिर नहीं गया है. क्या लिखा है शिशिर ने? Under this topic, beauty in things exists in the mind which contemplates them. A family went to see a movie together to spend some quality time. On their way back, the adolescent children were discussing about how handsome the lead actor and actresses were portrayed in the film. ठीक है, बच्चों का ये पर्सपेक्टिव था. Whereas the father was influenced by the dedication of the actor to save his near and dear ones. ठीक है, now he being the father, he being the patriarch of the family, he has a different perspective. On the other hand, the mother, who was a sociologist, was mesmerized by the apt characterization of social scenarios in the movie. Now everybody is looking at the movie through their own lens. Movie same है, same movie सबने देखी है, but they are looking at it through different lens. ठीक है, adolescent children है, father है, mother है who is a sociologist, all have different perspectives about the movie. The common thread is everyone liked the movie. Now there was a common feeling that the movie was a beautiful piece of art, but everyone was touched by different angles of the movie. It was the sensitivities of their mind and their contemplation which made the movie beautiful. Now, if I read the introduction and go back at the topic, I, as a mentor or I, as an evaluator, am impressed by the fact that the introductory paragraph does justice to the topic. Beauty in things exists in the mind which contemplates them. Here, what we are emphasizing on, although this is a fictitious example, this is no real life example. उसने एक fictitious example create कर दिया और बहुत ही कम space में उसने present कर दिया उस example को. Still, this introductory paragraph has practicality, or this is application based, and what is most important, it is not an enlarged ethics answer. Now I have seen this thing in many of my students जो शुरुआत में essays लिखते हैं. Philosophical essay का अगर topic होता है, they tend to make it an enlarged ethics answer, irrespective of what the topic is. यहाँ पर topic बहुत specific है, although it is a philosophical essay. Beauty in things exists in the mind which contemplates them, right? What they would do, students in the beginning, they start giving philosophies of life. Exists है इसलिए existentialism की बात करने लगेंगे. Various scholars they would bring in, ठीक है, scholars from the Western world, scholars from India, scholars from the ancient medieval times, philosophers from the ancient times, and from the very beginning till the very end, the essay is all about these philosophies, these philosophers, and these scholars and their sayings, right? So almost an enlarged version of ethics answer. यहाँ पर ऐसा नहीं है. He has kept it practical, application based, and to the point. Makes sense so far? Kunal, Soham, Anshul?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So this was the first thing. Introduction, which is to the point, which is practical or application based, despite it being a fictitious example that is being portrayed. And it is not an enlarged version of ethics answer. आगे चलते हैं. As we all know, philosophical essays or abstract essays में students को दिक्कत क्यों होती है? Primarily, the topics are open-ended, like some people have written in the chat box, और आप लोगों ने verbally भी बताया है भी. Open-ended topics होते हैं, abstract topics होते हैं, right? जिस वजह से flow नहीं बन पाता है या demand को interpret करना मुश्किल हो जाता है. So how do we solve this problem? How do we make sure that our interpretation is right? How do we make sure that we don't deviate from the main demand of the topic? So one good practice that we have been following, that my students have been following in the past years and who have been scoring good, is incorporating the definitional paragraph. After your introductory para is done, you write your definitional paragraph. Definitional paragraph में what do? We indulge in deconstruction. What is deconstruction? अब यहाँ पर ह्यूमैनिटीज के जिनके सब्जेक्ट्स हैं, उनको, जिनके ऑप्शनल्स हैं, उनको पता होगा डिकंस्ट्रक्शन का मतलब क्या होता है. जिनका सोशियोलॉजी ऑप्शनल होगा, जिनका पॉलिटिकल साइंस ऑप्शनल होगा, एंड सो ऑन. वी टेक द टॉपिक, जैसे यहाँ पर टॉपिक ब्यूटी इन थिंग्स exists in the mind which contemplates them. We take this topic and we deconstruct this topic. We break it down into its essential components, into its essential keywords. देखते हैं शिशिर ने यहां पर क्या किया है। शिशिर ने लिखा है, इन दिस कॉन्टेक्स्ट इट बिकम्स नेसेसरी टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज ब्यूटी. It is an abstract concept which measures the aesthetics or desirability of an object or stimuli. The characterization of beauty always needs an evaluator, and an evaluator's judgment may vary based on the personal preferences, mood, or circumstances. The quest to define beauty and humans' search for beauty around them has been an age-old conundrum. So here in the definitional paragraph, Shishir has tried to deconstruct the given topic into its essential keywords, and he has tried to define those keywords in his own language. Guys, please note it down. Here you are not expected to give a textbook definition. Textbook definition यहाँ पर expected नहीं होता है. आपकी अपनी भाषा में what do you understand by those keywords? You are expected to expand those keywords in that manner. अब यहां पर why are we using this definitional paragraph or why are we deconstructing the topic? जैसे शुरुआत में कुछ स्टूडेंट्स ने कहा कि टॉपिक के इंटरप्रिटेशन में कभी कभी मुश्किल आती है, डायमेंशंस बनाने में मुश्किल आती है, आर्गुमेंट्स बनाने में मुश्किल आती है. By incorporating the definitional paragraph and by deconstructing the given topic, we are trying to bring a degree of objectivity to a subjective and open-ended topic. We are trying to bring in a degree of concreteness to an abstract topic. Fine. So some degree of objectivity and concreteness is brought in. So that original nature of open-endedness has been tamed a bit. Fine. So that is why definitional paragraph becomes an important component of our philosophical essays. And this is something that most of the students miss out. Most of the students miss out on the definitional paragraph. And this is something additional that you are presenting to the examiner. Apart from this, this is also a very good reference point. When you start writing the essay, sometimes it so happens, after writing 20, 30, 40, 60% of the essay, we feel a mental block. आगे क्या लिखना है समझ में नहीं आता. कभी कभी ऐसा होता है. So in such a situation, we can come back to this definitional paragraph and see the way we ourselves have defined or deconstructed the given topic. Take cue from this definitional paragraph and move ahead with our essay. So good reference point for ourselves as well. So far, अच्छा ललिता को शायद थोड़ा सा confusion है. Say for example ललिता, जहां पर he has linked beauty with aesthetics, with desirability of objects or stimuli, quest for definition of beauty. This is how he have expanded on the given keyword, right? So he can refer this definition to move ahead in his given his essay if he feels that mental block. So that's how it acts as a reference point. I hope you are clear now, Lalita. So far we have seen introduction, definitional paragraph. Fine.
Yes, sir, one question.
हाँ Lalita.
So basically deconstruction means expanding keywords in our own language. That is it.
हाँ, you can say so. Keywords को identify कर रहे हैं और उनको अपनी भाषा में expand कर रहे हैं, define कर रहे हैं, right?
Yes, sir.
मोटे-मोटे तौर पर ऐसा आप बोल सकते हो. Okay, then comes an important question of what approach are we going to follow in our essay paper. Lalita, if I ask you, if you are presented with a topic, or for that matter, if you are presented with this very topic, beauty things exists in the mind which contemplates them.
Yes,
what would be your approach? क्या approach follow करोगे आप? किस तरह से structure करोगे main body को?
Give me some time.
Anyone. Lalita, सोहम, सत्यम. अच्छा सत्यम तो लाइब्रेरी में बैठा है. हुसैन. जनरली ऐसा होता है क्या कि हम ऐसे लिखना शुरू करते हैं और डी फैक्टो हमारी सेटिंग, मेंटल सेटिंग ये होती है, वी स्टार्ट फॉलोइंग द पेस्टल अप्रोच, पॉलिटिकल, इकोनॉमिक, सोशल, टेक्नोलॉजिकल, एनवायरमेंटल, लीगल.
Yes, sir.
That is the default setting, right? But when it comes to philosophical essays, if the topic so demands or if the topic so allows, we can go for other approaches. जैसे आपको स्क्रीन पर दिख रहे हैं, layers approach, entities approach, stakeholder approach, apart from pastel approach. A pastel approach is something that generally we all know. Layers approach क्या होता है? Layers approach में we move very systematically from a micro level analysis to a macro level analysis. If I give you a crude example, we start with the analysis at the individual level. Then we move ahead. We analyze the topic at the family level, then at the community level, at the society level, at the regional level, state level, national level, सब-रीजनल लेवल, कॉन्टिनेंटल एनालिसिस की बात कर रहे हैं, ग्लोबल लेवल, इंडिविजुअल लेवल से एनालाइज करते हैं. We went straight up till the United Nations organization and we analyzed that topic in a systematic upward moving manner, right? Micro to macro. That is layers approach, almost like peeling off an onion. ठीक है, those layers open up one after the other, just like layers of onions open up. That is layers approach.
Hello.
Then entities approach. Who is this?
Abhishek. This is Abhishek Jorwal.
Abhishek, I'll take your question. Let me just speak on entities and stakeholders approach. I'll take
Yeah,
your
sure. Yeah, sure.
Then entities approach क्या होता है? Now again, depending on the topic, if the topic so demands. Say for example, there was a topic in 2016. Character of an institution is determined by the character of its leader. Character of an institution is determined by the character of its leader. Now here, what is that entity? Institutions. Those institutions about which we are going to speak are those entities. So here, if we follow entities approach, how would we analyze the topic? Character of an institution is determined by character of its leader. Now one grassroots entity would be Panchayat Raj institutions, Gram Sabhas. So we could take up good case studies where leaders at the local level, sarpanches at the local level have brought about perceptible and positive change in their respective area. Then other entities, NGOs. Now NGOs are institutions or entities of the voluntary sector. Again, we can take good case studies or examples of NGOs who have brought about positive changes and leaders of those institutions who have brought about those positive changes, right? Similarly, other institutions, grassroots institution की हमने बात की, NGO, voluntary institution की हमने बात की, global institutions, United Nations organization, say for example, there we could refer Ban Ki-moon as the former Secretary General. He was the leader of that global institution, and what were the positive changes that he brought in its character. So this is how we move ahead with the entities approach if the topic so demands. Then comes the stakeholder approach. Again, if the topic so demands and if the topic so allows, we use the stakeholder approach. Say for example, if the topic is on situational morality, morality के ऊपर topic है, so depending on the topic, we would analyze what would be morality of a subjugated Dalit or downtrodden person. What would be morality of a woman in that particular situation? What would be the morals she would follow or she would be expected to follow? What would be morality of a white collar professional, and so on. Stakeholder approach depending on the given topic. Morality of an administrator, IS, IPS officer, right? Kautilya, say for example, had spoken of dual morality of a king. A king has dual morality as per Kautilya. So that is how we follow stakeholder approach depending on the topic. And fourth one, pastel. We all know this. Political. We analyze the topic through different dimensions, be it political, economic, social, technological, environmental, legal, and so on. That is nothing but pastel approach. So layers approach, entities approach, stakeholders approach, pastel approach. When it comes to philosophical essays, we can opt for either of these approaches, which better explicates the topic. जो भी approach topic को better explicate कर रहा है, better justify कर रहा है, we would go with that. Fine. And ultimately, अगर कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा है, तो हमारी default setting तो पहले से बनी हुई है pastel approach follow करने की, right? So we move with the pastel approach if we are not able to follow the other approaches. Lalita, Soham, Lalita, tell me.
So one question. So I think after practicing 2 to 3 essays, then only we'll come to know which approach exactly to use, I think.
Definitely. Without practice, आप कैसे समझोगे किस टॉपिक को कौन सा अप्रोच बेटर सूट करेगा? हर अप्रोच still have to write multiple essays. Ideally, at least using one essay, one approach for different essays. Then you'll be able to internalize the demand supply dynamics of the topic, right? If you face a topic, you would quickly make this decision that this topic should be dealt with the layers approach or the entities approach or the pastel approach. Say for example, यहाँ पर शिशिर ने क्या किया? शिशिर की कॉपी हम देख रहे हैं, right? Shishir has simply followed the pastel approach. He has started with the historical dimension. He has started by analyzing the modern Indian history or Indian freedom struggle. The way he has made reference to different people can find different methods beautiful. The freedom struggle of India was enriched by views of many courageous leaders, right? So he has simply started with the pastel approach. जबरदस्ती दूसरा approach follow करना है इसलिए हम करेंगे, ऐसा नहीं है. Shishir felt that pastel approach better suits this topic. He went with this particular approach. Be it pastel approach or any other approach. Makes sense? So hum,
Yes.
Hussain, Lalita.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So guys, we are discussing the structural aspects of the essay. Fine. Fine tuning. हम बहुत ज़्यादा बारीकियों में नहीं जा रहे हैं. Otherwise, it won't be possible to discuss everything in one particular session. इसके बाद I'll definitely take up your questions. Then comes another important component of your essay, which is providing counter perspectives. Counter perspectives. सत्यम से मैं सवाल नहीं पूछ सकता. He is in library. Guys, please keep your cameras on. On होंगे cameras तभी आपसे बात होगी. Abhishek. अच्छा, Abhishek, you also had a question, I believe.
No, sir. I had told that I am also writing means.
अच्छा.
This was another Abhishek, like some other person.
Another Abhishek, bolo.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Another Abhishek. How to quickly connect the topic with the topics given in the syllabus? Like, let's we are sitting in the exam and we just see the question. So, in the mind of students, let me take myself. Like, we can relate the topic and the keywords given in the question very subjectively. Okay, like we can relate in a very different direction, which is not given in the syllabus. The keywords in the syllabus. So my basic simple question is, like, for example, beauty. How to connect the beauty to and the things, like what is the meaning one should hold on to while writing the essay. Like,
first thing, Abhishek, first
Yeah.
thing, why do you want to connect each and everything to your syllabus?
Because we
Yeah,
are
but-
writing UPSC, like this is a UPSC exam, right? So
Fine. No, I didn't get this point.
yeah.
Like, are you saying that you would draw each and every dimension strictly from the syllabus of your mains examination. Are you saying this?
Yeah, this is what I am asking.
अच्छा, सबसे पहले अभिषेक मुझे ये बताओ, what is the syllabus of essay paper?
Like as such, it is not given that any specific syllabus for essay paper.
Syllabus नहीं दिया हुआ है, बस instructions होते हैं essay के, and the instructions are you have to keep your essay succinct, to the point, relevant.
Yeah.
Right?
Relevant.
These are the instructions.
Yeah. So relevant to what?
Right. And see, when it as far as linking it to syllabus is concerned, fine. You have already gone through the syllabus, and it is a good way or an easy way out to be able to use your available resources. Available resources क्या है यहाँ पर? Whatever you have learned, read or prepared as part of your syllabus, right?
Yeah.
उन्हीं resources को आप use करोगे. So
yes.
Nothing wrong in that, nothing bad in that. But the main point of confusion that you have is regarding the subjectivity of usage of syllabus, right? So as you have said, कि this very topic, beauty, mind, contemplation की बात हो रही है. So सत्यम उसको कुछ और तरीके से इंटरप्रेट करेगा, अंशुल कुछ अलग तरीके से करेगा, ललिता कुछ अलग तरीके से करेगी और अभिषेक कुछ अलग तरीके से इंटरप्रेट करेगा, using the same syllabus.
Yes.
That is what you are saying.
Yes.
Fine. So Abhishek, essay paper, especially when it comes to abstract topics, the examiner would never expect you to write 2 + 2 = 4 kind of an answer or essay. There will always be subjectivity. ठीक है? जैसे शिशिर ने यहाँ पर शुरुआत की with the reference of this movie. Introduction में शिशिर ने क्या लिखा है? मूवी को एक फैमिली जाती है और सबको मूवी पसंद आती है, लेकिन the reason why everyone liked the movie was different. Everyone's perspective was different. So this is how he interpreted the topic. Further, this is how he deconstructed the topic. अब जिस तरह से अभिषेक इस टॉपिक को डिकंस्ट्रक्ट करेगा, अंशुल डिकंस्ट्रक्ट करेगा, ललिता डिकंस्ट्रक्ट करेगी, would be different, right? Similar deconstruction नहीं हो सकता.
Absolutely.
Right? और similar interpretation भी नहीं हो सकता. But again, complete deviation भी allowed नहीं है. Say for example, topic यहाँ बोल रहा है, beauty in things exists in the mind which contemplates them. Right? यहाँ पर so far as you are speaking about perspectives and subjectivity subjectivity involved in human minds, you are sticking to the topic. Right? But you if you start writing something else, say for example, if you start writing about philosophy, a philosophy which says that nothing is beautiful in this world, whatever beauty lies in the afterlife. Okay? This is a philosophy. If you start explaining on that topic, that would be a complete deviation. And that makes complete sense to you, right? So deviation is not allowed. Subjectivity of interpretation is always welcome in philosophical essays. I hope that makes sense, Abhishek. Okay. So we have seen various approaches that we can follow when it comes to philosophical topics. Moving ahead, providing counter perspective.
Sir, am I audible? Hello.
Who is this?
Sir, Sanjeev this side. Hello.
Sandeep, बताओ.
Sir, actually, I'm asking that it's my third attempt, but I couldn't start like any essay, sir. So I will start. So how will I start, sir? And how will I understand that what philosophical like essays are asking? I'm not understanding what they are actually asking, sir.
अच्छा, fine. यहाँ पर डिटेल में बात करना पड़ेगा. What was your name again?
Sanjeev Kumar.
Sanjeev.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sanjeev, we will have to speak about it in detail. एक काम करो, जब सेशन हो जाएगा मुझे टेलीग्राम पर पिंग करो. I hope all of you are in my telegram group. कोई है ऐसा जो टेलीग्राम ग्रुप में नहीं है? Some people are saying no. Guys, I'll share the link to my Telegram group in the chat session at the chat box at the end of the session. ठीक है, अभी के लिए कंटिन्यू करते हैं. डिटेल्ड इंडिविजुअल डिस्कशन हम अभी नहीं कर सकते. ठीक है, थिंग्स ऑफ कॉमन रिलेवेंस को ही हम अभी प्रायोरिटाइज करेंगे. ठीक है संजीव?
ओके सर,
वहां पर आप मुझे पिंग कर सकते हो सेशन के बाद.
ओके.
Then comes a very important and scoring aspect of your philosophical essays in general and philosophical essays in particular, negating the premise. Anshul, if I ask you, in a given topic or in a given philosophical topic, I hope you provide counters, I hope you negate the topic. करते हो negate? अंशुल?
हाँ,
अंशुल के पास नेटवर्क इशू आ रहा है. चित्रलेखा, व्हाट अबाउट यू?
हेलो सर.
हेलो चित्रलेखा, आई कांट सी यू ऑन द स्क्रीन. कैमरा चालू रखो. ओके, चित्रलेखा बताओ, व्हेन यू एड्रेस अ गिवन टॉपिक, सिर्फ अच्छी बातें ही लिखते हो आप टॉपिक के बारे में, या टॉपिक ने जो टॉपिक दिया हुआ है वही ब्रह्म ज्ञान है, वही सच्चाई है, पत्थर की लकीर है, ऐसा करते हो या उसको काउंटर भी करते हो?
Sir, I count in multiple dimensions, sir. I think about multiple dimensions.
See, here we are not discussing about dimensions. पॉलिटिकल, इकोनॉमिक, टेक्नोलॉजिकल डायमेंशंस या एंटिटीज अप्रोच अगर फॉलो करेंगे माइक्रो से लेकर मैक्रो एनालिसिस, हम उसकी बात नहीं कर रहे हैं. डायमेंशंस की हम बात नहीं कर रहे हैं. वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट गिविंग अ काउंटर पर्सपेक्टिव. टॉपिक अगर कुछ बोल रहा है, उसके खिलाफ जाकर, उसके अगेंस्ट जाकर हमको कुछ बोलना है. लेट मी गिव यू दिस एग्जांपल.
Sir, if I can prove this with example, then I can go against it. But if I cannot prove, and sir, if I can prove it logically, then I can go against or with it. For me, sir, it doesn't matter that I'm going against or not. If I am rational, logical, then I can go with this.
ठीक है.
My thing.
What Chitralekha is saying, if she finds that her argument is logical, then she counters, then she negates the topic. Fine. Guys, please note this down. In philosophical essays, the topics are abstract, they are open-ended. Fine. So it is always better to provide counter perspective to the main premise. ठीक है? It is a scoring aspect of your philosophical essay. Say for example, यहां पर देखते हैं शिशिर ने क्या किया है. टॉपिक क्या था इस essay का? Beauty in things exists in the mind which contemplates them. This is the main premise of the essay, and roughly 80% essay शिशिर ने इसी premise को true मानकर लिखा. But when he was done with 75 to 80% of the essay, he started negating the topic. उसने लिखा, it is not always the case that the concept of beauty is subjective. ठीक है? A direct negation at the very beginning of the paragraph. Some beautiful things are universal. Mother's adulation for her child is universal. Mother's love is also universally considered beautiful. It is one of the strong determinant of character of an individual. Thus, family and society affects an individual's notion of beauty. So here again, Shishir has not given many concrete examples. Abstract सा ही एक आर्गुमेंट दिया है, और उसको जस्टिफाई करने में भी काफी एब्स्ट्रैक्ट सा ही स्टेटमेंट बनाया है. जैसे मदर्स एडुलेशन फॉर हर चाइल्ड इज यूनिवर्सल and it is also considered beautiful. Nothing concrete here, but his argument is valid. He is countering the main premise of the topic, which says there is subjectivity involved. Always subjectivity is involved in contemplation of beauty. That is what the topic says. और इसने शिशिर ने उसको यहाँ पर काउंटर किया है. This is counter perspective number 1. Counter perspective number 2. क्या लिखा है शिशिर ने? सिमिलरली moral acts always create a sense of pleasure in a mind and hence are beautiful. If we see someone doing something good, we all feel as a part of that act. In COVID times, when an influencer shared a dire situation of a food seller, Baba Ka Dhaba, and helped him, this act was appreciated by all and help poured from world over. Thus, there may be uniform standards of beauty accepted by all. So here he has provided some concreteness by giving reference to Baba Ka Dhaba. He has tried to bring in some degree of concreteness. Again, a direct counter to the topic. And as a matter of rule, we provide at least one counter perspective. Now, this is strictly with respect to philosophical essays. At least one counter perspective and maximum 3 counter perspectives. The reason being, if you keep on giving counter after counter, it appears more of a digression than a counter perspective. And we don't want that to happen. We don't want the examiner to construe or see our write-up as a deviation from the main demand of the topic. Minimum 1, maximum 3 counter perspectives, and that too at the proper place. Placing matters, guys. Placing matters. After we are done with 75 to 80% of the essay, we would provide counters. बीच में counter नहीं देना है, otherwise it would appear more of a deviation. ठीक है? So this is how we provide counter perspectives, and this is how counter perspectives is a very important scoring component of our philosophical essays. आगे बढ़ते हैं.
सर जस्ट कंक्लूजन से पहले लिखना है क्या?
Who is this?
सर कृषाणु.
या कंक्लूजन के पहले ही लिखेंगे, because when you are done with counter perspectives, you'll move towards writing the conclusion. Fine?
Okay, sir.
In other words, if you write counter, if you are countering the given premise, if you are countering the main premise of the topic, and again you are writing a paragraph in favor of the topic, your write-up would become incoherent. फेवर में बात कर रहे हो, फिर उसके अगेंस्ट में बात कर रहे हो, फिर से जाके उसके फेवर में बात कर रहे हो. That's how incoherence seeps in, right? So conclusion के पहले we would be countering the main premise of the topic. ठीक है? Then comes your conclusion. If I ask you, ललिता, अब ललिता ही मुझे स्क्रीन पर दिख रही है, इसलिए सवाल मुझे ललिता से ही पूछना पड़ रहा है. ललिता, when it comes to philosophical essays, how should we be concluding our philosophical essays? या आप कैसे conclude करते हो philosophical essays को?
Sir, as you said, like we have given the counter perspective as well. So if I would have written this essay, I would have mentioned both the perspective, like to conclude exactly what to say about this topic. Final concluding marks with giving both the perspectives.
ठीक है.
I think, yeah, because this is philosophical essay, so there is no scope for way forward, I think. Generally, we do in some other essay, like.
Now, this is something interesting that you're saying, Lalita. Lalita is saying that in philosophical essays there is no scope for way forward. Why is that, Lalita?
This is my perspective. I believe so, because way forward is exactly what to do next, like what exactly we can do in future. But philosophical, I think it is a sort of a view. Philosophy, yeah, it's sort of a view. So we exactly can't say what exactly we have to do in future.
Very valid, very valid. In other words, Lalita क्या बोल रही है? When we deal with conventional essays, say for example, we are writing an essay on a conventional topic, be it on agriculture, Indian polity, say for example, agricultural development in post-independent India. Okay? The topic is somewhat revolving around that topic. So it is but natural that we would mention many issues, many problems that were faced by Indian agriculture, right? And again, we are not expected just to enlist issues and problems. If we are mentioning issues, if we are mentioning problems, we are also expected to give solutions, right?
Yeah.
As simple as that. Problem अगर आप बता रहे हो, सिर्फ प्रॉब्लम बताने से काम नहीं चलेगा, आप सॉल्यूशन बताना पड़ेगा आपको. But when it comes to philosophical essays, when it comes to abstract essays, let's take this topic for example, beauty, subjective beauty and subjective contemplation की हम बात कर रहे हैं. Are we really bringing up an issue? Are we really bringing up a problem as such, or are we analyzing the topic from different points of views? We are analyzing the topic from different viewpoints rather than bringing up issues and problems. Am I correct, Lalita?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Perspectives.
So, yeah, perspectives, counter perspectives, and bringing in various dimensions, analyzing the topic from various dimensions. So, that is the reason when it comes to philosophical essays, it is always better to, it is generally better to summarize the essay. When it comes to philosophical essays, generally we summarize the essay rather than providing a way forward, compared to conventional essays where we prefer giving a way forward. क्योंकि वहां पर हमने काफी सारे प्रॉब्लम्स की बात की है, इसलिए हम वे फॉरवर्ड भी बताएंगे, हम सॉल्यूशंस भी बताएंगे. फाइन. One easy way of summarizing your philosophical essays is we pick up the main argument of every paragraph that we have written. We pick up the main argument of each and every paragraph. We don't use it verbatim use nahi karenge. We rephrase it. We rephrase those main arguments and write those one after the other, including those of the counter perspectives, and then we end that paragraph on a positive note. So yahan par it is an easy way out because we don't have to think anything separately. जो हमने ऑलरेडी लिख रखा है, जो मेन आर्गुमेंट हमने लिख रखी है, उसी को हम यूज कर रहे हैं, उसी को रिफ्रेश करके हम लिख रहे हैं, इंक्लूडिंग द काउंटर पर्सपेक्टिव्स, एंड वी आर एंडिंग इट ऑन अ पॉजिटिव नोट. दिस इज जस्ट लाइक प्रोवाइडिंग अ फ्लैशबैक टू द एग्जामिनर. मूवीज में कभी कभी ऐसा होता है, फ्लैशबैक इन अ मैटर ऑफ सेकंड्स पूरा की पूरा लाइफ टाइम उस पर्सन को दिखाई देता है, राइट? दैट्स how a flashback is up, that's how a flashback appears. तो यहाँ पर हमने जो भी presentation दिया है इस essay में, the way we have explicated this particular essay is reinforced before the examiner in our concluding paragraph through our summarization. And this is again a very important step, because after reading your summarization or after reading your concluding paragraph, the examiner will award you marks for this particular essay, right? So again, an important step, summarization being used as a concluding tool for philosophical essays. Fine. So far, what have we seen? Abhishek, I'll take your question. You're raising hand. I'll take your question. So far, we started with the introduction, and we have seen and we have emphasized on keeping it practical, rooted to ground reality. We have discussed the definitional paragraph and seen how we are expected to deconstruct the given topic and expand it in our own language. We have also discussed different approaches that can be followed in philosophical essays rather than mechanically sticking to pastel approach every time. We have emphasized the importance of providing counter perspectives, the proper placing of counter perspectives, and we have also discussed the proper way to conclude philosophical essays and an easy way out. How do we pick up the main arguments? We rephrase them and we put them one after the other, and we end the concluding paragraph on a positive note. That is how we summarize the given philosophical essays. And we have also understood that by keeping it practical and rooted in ground reality, we don't convert it into an enlarged ethics answer, or in other words, we don't follow a philosophical approach while writing a philosophical essay. Essay philosophical है, लेकिन हमारी approach philosophical नहीं है. Our approach is very much rooted to ground reality. We have also learned that pastel approach can be used. Pastel approach can be used, but depending on the demand of the topic, if the topic so allows, but not, it can't be used mechanically. Again, we have learned that in philosophical essays, way forward is generally not, it generally doesn't suit as a concluding tool, as a concluding strategy. Summarization is a better strategy when it comes to philosophical essays. So these 5 golden rules of approaching philosophical essays, writing philosophical essays, we have discussed in this brief interaction. Abhishek, I'll take your question, and apart from Abhishek, अगर किसी के कुछ doubts हैं, कुछ questions हैं, you can raise your hand. I'll take up your doubts. Yes, Abhishek.
Sir, I had doubt like in some philosophical essays, there are also scope for way forward. Like let's say if we call honesty, if we are writing about honesty is the best policy or something, there is scope. So we can also write way forward and then summarize it. Will it be a good approach or what?
Way forward and summarize both don't go hand in hand. Abhishek, this is Abhishek, right?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Honesty वाले टॉपिक की तुम बात कर रहे हो. Honesty is the best policy. ठीक है, ये हमारा टॉपिक है. Honesty is the best policy. क्या वे फॉरवर्ड देंगे हम यहाँ पे?
Like sir, जैसे गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसेज में there are a lot of corruption, तो हम ले सकते हैं कि corruption जो होने चाहिए वो सिविल सर्वेंट्स के, या फिर ऐसे इन जनरल पब्लिक के लिए भी corruption जो होनी चाहिए वो नहीं होनी चाहिए. And compassion, like we can add the compassion dimensions, like people should be honest about their opinions and also help others, and something on these lines.
Okay, और summarize कैसे करोगे इस ऐसे को?
Summarize, sir, summarizing will be like जैसे हम conclude करते हैं किसी चीज को, तो वहाँ पे conclusion में जो last lines लिखेंगे कि कैसे honesty एक human को मतलब बेटर बनाता है, और क्या क्या उसके डायमेंशन से जो मैंने इसे में लिखा है, और जो वे फॉरवर्ड का क्रक्स है उसको.
See, Abhishek, the rule is simple. You gave reference of corruption in public offices, government offices.
Yes, sir.
If you have brought in the issue of corruption in the main body, तुमने प्रॉब्लम अगर गिनवाई है, प्रॉब्लम गिनाई है तो सॉल्यूशन देना होगा. प्रॉब्लम्स अगर नहीं गिनाई है तो सॉल्यूशन देने की जरूरत नहीं है. यू गो फॉर समराइजेशन. ठीक है, मेन बॉडी में अगर तुमने करप्शन की बात की है या दूसरे कोई इश्यूज की बात की है, तब आपको सॉल्यूशन देना होगा. अगेन इट वुड डिपेंड ऑन द टॉपिक. Now some topics would fall on the edge. It would appear to be philosophical, but again be linked to the conventional area as well, right? That would be a gray area. लेकिन ये रूल हमको फॉलो करना है. प्रॉब्लम्स हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं तो सॉल्यूशन हम देंगे. ठीक है, एज सिंपल एज दैट. अगर हमको ये कंफ्यूजन हो भी रहा है कि इज दिस ऐसे, वुड दिस ऐसे फॉल इन द फिलोसॉफिकल डोमेन और द कन्वेंशनल डोमेन, तब इस रूल को याद करना है. हमने क्या लिखा है मेन बॉडी में, उसके अनुसार हम डिसाइड करेंगे कि यहाँ पर वे फॉरवर्ड देना है या समराइज करना है. मेक सेंस अभिषेक?
सर, यस सर.
ओके, इशिका, यू आर रेजिंग हैंड. I can't see you on the screen, Ishika.
Yes, sir. The network was so big here that I have to come on the roof, so I can't open my camera, sir.
रोड पर आकर आप सेशन अटेंड
कर
रहे हो?
No, sir, not road. छत पे.
छत पर आकर कर रहे हो?
Oh yes,
छत पर आकर सेशन अटेंड कर रहे हो ना, guys? That is very commendable. ध्यान से, इशिका.
Sir, so my question is, what are the different dimensions or viewpoint we can explore the philosophical essays? Like in a conventional essay, we can explore multi-dimensions, political, economical, international. There's a lot, but in philosophical essays, I want to know the dimensions where we can explore, or different viewpoints.
See, Ishika, in philosophical essays, more than dimensions, अप्रोच मैटर्स. अगर आप डायमेंशन की बात कर रहे हो, इफ यू आर फॉलोइंग पेस्टल अप्रोच, देन उसको एक्सपांड करने के कुछ तरीके हैं. से फॉर एग्जांपल उसी को आप थोड़ा एक्सपांड करोगे तो स्पीच लिट अप्रोच आप यूज कर सकते हो. स्पीच लिट अगेन क्या है? स्पीच सोशल, पॉलिटिकल, एनवायरमेंट, इकोलॉजिकल, कल्चरल, हिस्टोरिकल, इंटरनेशनल और इंडिविजुअल, लीगल. स्पीच लिट एंड टेक्नोलॉजिकल. स्पीच लिट. उसके आगे भी आपको एक्सपांड करना है उस पर्टिकुलर टेम्पलेट को, यू कैन कन्वर्ट इट इनटू सिलेबस अप्रोच. आपका जीएस का जो सिलेबस है, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम जीएस पेपर 1 टू जीएस पेपर 4. व्हेन यू कम टू जीएस पेपर 1, यू हैव एवरीथिंग स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री, वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री, कल्चर, society. GS paper 2 constitution, GS paper 3 economy, GS paper 4 ethics, morals, philosophers, everything, right? पेस्टल को एक्सपांड किया स्पीच लिट, और ज्यादा एक्सपांड किया सिलेबस अप्रोच. यू कैन कम अप विद एन नंबर ऑफ डायमेंशंस. रही बात फिलोसॉफिकल एसेज में क्या हम इन डायमेंशंस को यूज कर सकते हैं, डेफिनेटली. one thing we have been emphasizing, Ishika, time and again, our philosophical approach, our philosophical essay would not be philosophical in nature. Rather, it would be rooted in ground realities, right? If the topic so demands, you'll have to analyze it from the technological point of view, economic point of view, societal point of view. जैसे ये टॉपिक हमने अभी डिस्कस किया जो शिशिर ने लिखा था, सब्जेक्टिविटी ऑफ ब्यूटी की यहाँ पर बात हो रही है. तो सोशल डायमेंशन भी हम यहाँ पर ला सकते थे कि ब्यूटी इज ऑल्सो सोशली डिटरमाइंड, राइट? हम यहाँ पर ये नहीं बोल सकते हाउ कैन वी यूज पेस्टल अप्रोच और स्पीचलेस अप्रोच डिस्पाइट इट बीइंग अ फिलोसॉफिकल टॉपिक. टॉपिक की डिमांड वो है, हमको पेस्टल अप्रोच यहाँ पर यूज करना पड़ेगा. मेक सेंस, इशिका?
यस सर.
नहीं, आपका यस सर थोड़ा सा लंबा था. यस सर, थोड़ा सा डाउट अभी भी लग रहा है.
तो सर ये जो ऐसे है ब्यूटी, तो उसमें हम सोशल के अलावा और कौन सा मतलब डायमेंशन पे फोकस कर सकते थे?
आप बताओ. चलो मैं टॉपिक फिर से आपके सामने रख देता हूं. Viewing things exists in the mind which contemplates them.
तो इंडिविजुअल पे भी डिपेंड करता है.
वेरी गुड.
इंडिविजुअल में हैव डिफरेंट डायमेंशंस.
एंटिटीज अप्रोच फॉलो कर सकते हैं हम यहाँ पे. ब्यूटी, ठीक है, फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ एन इंडिविजुअल. ब्यूटी फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ
varies from individual to individual.
Ishika, beauty from the perspective of a nation state. Say for example, India is a democracy. India is a democratic republic. So it would always advocate for democratic principles, democratic rights, human rights world over, right? It would not favor dictatorial regimes or autocratic regimes which are taking away the rights of its citizens, right? So in the eyes of a democratic country, democratic principles would be beautiful and autocratic practices would not be beautiful. Make sense, Ishika?
Yes sir. Yes sir.
So here we are trying to use entities approach, starting from the individual, moving upwards, micro to macro.
और सर ये जो ऐसे है इसमें हम एग्जांपल के एक्सेप्ट मतलब एक्सेप्ट एग्जांपल, व्हाट कैन बी द डिफरेंट वे टू स्टार्ट दिस एसे?
अच्छा, इंट्रोडक्शन आप किस तरह से शुरू करोगे गाइस? See, now these are valid questions. How can we start introductions? Like, should we start with an anecdote, newspaper heading, fictitious example, mythological references, real life case studies? इस पर एक अलग सा डिस्कशन हम कर सकते हैं. I'll just share my Telegram group link, guys. वहां पर हम अलग से इस चीज को डिस्कस करेंगे. इस एक सेशन में इतना सारा डिस्कशन पॉसिबल नहीं होगा. सिमिलरली और बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट कुछ दूसरे एस्पेक्ट्स भी हैं. से फॉर एग्जांपल, वी फॉलो अ स्ट्रक्चर्ड फॉर्मेट फॉर राइटिंग आवर पैराग्राफ्स. 3 स्टेप फॉर्मेट होता है. वी स्टार्ट आवर एसे विद एन आर्गुमेंट, फॉलोड बाय सब्सटेंशिएशन, फॉलोड बाय इन्फरेंस. ठीक है, ओपन एंडेड आर्ग्यूमेंट होता है. We try to justify that argument by giving concrete facts, figures, examples. At the end, we write an inference where we link that paragraph to the main demand of the topic. Now, this is an important aspect, but we can't discuss this aspect in this particular session because that's not possible, guys. इसके लिए हम अलग से कुछ discussion arrange कर सकते हैं, या we can find different ways of discussing this. Probably we can discuss this out through the Telegram group itself.
Okay, sir.
I hope you are clear now, Ishika.
Yes, sir. Next session में clear हो जाएगा.
अच्छा, next session में clear हो जाएगा. Fine.
Yes, sir.
अभी के लिए जो हमने discussion किया है, उस पर तो clarity है.
हाँ, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
अभी तुम्हारा yes sir काफी straight forward था, slow वाला नहीं था, तो clarity है.
Sir, because next session में जो clear होगा उसका खुशी है अभी.
तो उसका खुशी है. ठीक है, खुशी रखो. अगले सेशन में भी हम डिस्कशन करेंगे. गाइस, अदर क्वेश्चंस, अदर डाउट्स? लेट मी जस्ट शेयर द जॉइनिंग लिंक ऑफ माय टेलीग्राम ग्रुप. तब तक आप लोग सवाल पूछ सकते हो. कृष्णो इज रेजिंग हैंड. यस कृष्णो.
सर, संजीव दिस साइड.
सर अच्छा ठीक है.
वन आफ्टर द अदर. कृष्णो पहले.
ओके सर, मैंने पहले एक कोर्स किया था बहुत पहले इसी को लेके, तो अनफॉर्चुनेटली उसमें नंबर कम मिलते थे, यही बोल के कि एक स्ट्रक्चर होता है कुछ 8 पैराग्राफ्स का, तो 180 वर्ड्स का एक पैराग्राफ का. तो फिर मैंने बाद में उसको कंपेयर किया, आकृति सेठी हो गई, फिर बाकी टॉपर्स के एसे नोट्स के साथ, सॉरी कॉपीज के साथ. तो उनके पैराग्राफ काउंट जो उनका था सर, वो कभी 20 पहुंच जाता है, कभी 18 पहुंच जाता है. तो इसमें आपका क्या कहना है कि कोई फिक्स पैराग्राफ काउंट मेंटेन करना चाहिए?
ओके, टेल मी योर नेम प्लीज. अभी स्क्रीन पर मुझे किसी के नाम दिख नहीं रहे हैं.
सर माय नेम इज कृषानु.
Okay, Krishanu, give me just a moment. Let me just share this link with you guys. मैंने आपका सवाल सुन लिया है. Guys, I have shared the joining link for my Telegram group in the chat box. You can use that link to join the Telegram group, and you can ping me in that Telegram group with respect to your doubts and inputs. Okay, so let's come back to Krishanu's doubt. Krishanu, you are saying that you had joined some program और उसमें आपको कोई strict template बताया गया था 8 paragraph वाली.
Yes sir.
And then you compared it with toppers copies, and you found variation in toppers copies and what you were being taught. So यहाँ पर आपका सवाल क्या है? सवाल आपका बताओ.
तो सवाल
कॉन्टेक्स्ट तो मुझे समझ में आ गया.
सवाल ये है सर कि आप रेकमेंड करते हैं ऐसे, मतलब स्ट्रिक्ट एकदम वाटर टाइट स्ट्रक्चर्स मेंटेन करने के लिए, कि पहला एक इंट्रो हो गया, फिर बॉडी पैराग्राफ 1 जहाँ पे डिकंस्ट्रक्शन हो रहा है, फिर ऐसे और 5 पैराग्राफ्स, फिर लास्ट में कंक्लूजन, या फिर उन 5 पैराग्राफ्स को बीच के जो 5 पैराग्राफ्स हैं या डिकंस्ट्रक्शन वाला भी जो पैराग्राफ है उसको तोड़ के एकदम अपने हिसाब से कि 7-8 लाइन के पैराग्राफ्स में, ताकि ओवरऑल काउंट जो है चला जाए, कुछ भी उससे मैटर नहीं करता.
ओके फाइन. कृष्णा, हर्षिता, आई थिंक हर्षिता हैज जॉइन लेट. अभी जो आप स्क्रीन.
नो सर, मैं ज्वाइन कर चुकी थी बहुत पहले.
ओके, लेकिन इंटरेक्ट नहीं किया सेशन में. फाइन. सी कृष्णा, अभी जो कॉपी आप सामने देख रहे हो स्क्रीन के ऊपर, वो भी टॉपर की ही कॉपी है, राइट?
Yes,
और जो डिस्कशन हम कर रहे हैं, जो बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस अभी हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, ये भी मेरे स्टूडेंट्स ने ही फॉलो किया है, who have bagged top ranks. फाइन.
यस सर.
और जहां तक रही बात स्ट्रिक्ट स्ट्रेटेजी, स्ट्रिक्ट टेम्पलेट फॉलो करने की, सो एट अ पॉइंट वी आर फॉलोइंग अ स्ट्रिक्ट टेम्पलेट. इंट्रोडक्शन हम लिख ही रहे हैं. क्या हम ऐसा बोलेंगे कि नो, वी वुड नॉट स्टार्ट आवर एसे विद एन इंट्रोडक्शन? योर फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ वुड बी द इंट्रोडक्टरी पैराग्राफ बाय डिफॉल्ट. ठीक है. उसके बाद हमने क्या डिस्कस किया? यू वुड बी डिकंस्ट्रक्टिंग द टॉपिक इन द नेक्स्ट पैराग्राफ. ठीक है, दैट्स अ स्ट्रिक्ट रूल. देन यू स्टार्ट विद योर बॉडी पैराग्राफ्स. उसके बाद हमने क्या डिस्कस किया? आफ्टर राइटिंग 75% to 80% of your main write-up, you would start countering the topic. अगेन दैट इज अ स्ट्रिक्ट रूल. उसके बाद हमने क्या डिस्कस किया? We would summarize our abstract essays. In general, summarization is well suited as a concluding strategy. So in a sense, these are strict rules which are fetching marks, right? Call these strict rules, call these good practices, or simply call it as your philosophical essay template. Doesn't matter as far as it is fetching you marks. Abhishek. रही बात लेंथ ऑफ पैराग्राफ की. कैन यू हियर मी अभिषेक?
सर इट वाज मी कृषानु,
सॉरी कृषानु. एज फार एज लेंथ ऑफ पैराग्राफ इज कंसर्न्ड, अभी हमने जैसे थोड़ी देर पहले डिस्कस किया, 3 स्टेप फॉर्मेट हम यूज करते हैं पैराग्राफ में. आर्ग्यूमेंट फॉलोड बाय सब्सटेंशिएशन फॉलोड बाय इन्फरेंस, राइट?
यस सर.
सो यू कांट कीप इट टू शॉर्ट. से फॉर एग्जांपल सिर्फ 2 सेंटेंस का आप पैराग्राफ लिख रहे हो, यू कैन इनकॉर्पोरेट ऑल द 3 स्टेप्स, राइट? Again, if you keep it too long, 12 सेंटेंस का आपने लिख दिया, you tend to dilute your argument if you are making your paragraph too long. Paragraphs के स्ट्रक्चर पर हम अभी डिटेल में डिस्कस नहीं कर सकते, but yes, if you are following this 3-step format, you'll need at least 1 sentence for your argument. You'll need at least 2 sentences for your substantiation portion where you are justifying your argument, and you'll need at least 1 sentence for your linking with the topic, your inference portion. 4 से 5 sentences minimum लगेंगे आपके paragraph को for it to be well structured. If you are keeping it less than 4 sentences, your paragraph will be unstructured, right? 5 sentences on an average will keep your paragraph structured. 8, 9, 10 sentences लिखोगे, you would dilute your argument. कम रखोगे, 2 या 3 ही रखोगे sentences, you will keep it unstructured. As simple as that. Make sense, Krishna?
Yes sir, balance maintain करना है.
Okay, Astha, you are raising hand. Please switch on your cameras. Yes, Astha.
Hello sir.
Hello, Astha.
Sir, I have just started preparation 1 month ago. It is good time to start writing an essay from PYQ.
Okay. आपने अभी पढ़ना शुरू किया है and you are exploring PYQs. Fine, Astha.
Yes,
in the beginning of your preparation journey, it's always better to explore PYQs and try your hand at some of the questions that have been mentioned, that have been asked in the previous years. Nothing wrong about that. इसके अलावा, see, if you have an individual doubt because you are a fresher, right?
Yes sir.
मुझे टेलीग्राम ग्रुप में आप पिंग करो, क्योंकि यहाँ पर मिक्स लॉट है. कुछ स्टूडेंट्स ऐसे भी हैं जो 1 महीने के बाद पेपर लिखने वाले हैं, राइट? इंडिविजुअल आपके जो डाउट्स होंगे उसको आप अलग से डिस्कस कर लेंगे टेलीग्राम के.
Okay, thank you sir.
Any other doubt, guys? Any other doubt? Astha, you are saying something?
No sir, thank you. I didn't understand now anything you in this lesson because I'm beginner and you are telling much in depth.
अच्छा, आस्था, तुमको कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आया?
Something sir, like
कुछ तो समझा होगा.
something really very low.
अच्छा, ठीक है. Astha is a beginner. Fine. So she'll have to ping me. Astha, you ping me on Telegram. I'll respond.
Yeah,
Fine?
sure sir.
सर ग्रुप, सर लिंक से वहां ओपन नहीं हो रहा है टेलीग्राम का. संजीव दिस साइड सर.
ओपन नहीं हो रहा है
सर, वो पता नहीं क्या हो रहा है. ओपन होके फिर तुरंत हट जाता है सर.
गाइस.
सर आप वहाँ सर समाचार मंथन वाले ग्रुप में दे सकते हैं क्या आप लिंक?
आई थिंक इट्स वर्किंग. आई थिंक कुछ स्टूडेंट्स ने ज्वाइन भी किया है ग्रुप लिंक यूज करके.
इट्स वर्किंग.
पता नहीं सर क्यों नहीं हो रहा है.
Yes, sir, हो गया.
अपडेट करके देखो एक बार संजीव, अपडेट करके देखो टेलीग्राम. इट्स वर्किंग फॉर अदर स्टूडेंट, इट शुड वर्क फॉर यू एज वेल.
ओके सर. सर वो एक क्वेश्चन है सर कि मतलब मेरा जीएस हो गया है बट मैंने ये इसका एक भी ऐसे स्टार्ट नहीं किया अभी, तो हाउ टू स्टार्ट सर, और कैसे स्टार्ट करें सर? मतलब जीएस पेपर ऑलरेडी.
अगेन दिस इज अ इंडिविजुअल डाउट. संजीव, आप मुझे टेलीग्राम पर, मैं आपको वहां पर रिस्पॉन्ड करता हूँ. जो स्ट्रक्चरल एस्पेक्ट्स हमने अभी डिस्कस किए गाइस, द 5 गोल्डन रूल्स दैट वी हैव डिस्कस्ड नाउ. If you have any doubt or input with respect to those 5 golden rules, please ask.
Sir.
Who is this?
Hello sir, Bharat here.
ललिता ने पहले पूछा है. यस, ललिता के बाद the other guy. Yes, Lalita.
Okay, sir. So my question is how to develop this thought process for philosophical essays. Like for the conventional topics, we read GS papers, so we have this content or thought process from there, from these subjects, but we do not exactly read something philosophical, or we haven't read in that manner previously in our life. So how exactly, because if I write essay, I am able to write approximately 2 to 3 pages, but after that I am not able, there is thought blockage after that. So how
Lalita,
exactly
Lalita, यही हमने discuss किया. You said we don't read anything philosophical, right? For approaching or for writing philosophical essays. Does it mean हमको गांधी जी की किताबें पढ़ना शुरू करनी होंगी, या अदर फिलोसोफर्स, कुछ दूसरे फिलोसोफर्स की किताबें हमको पढ़ना शुरू करनी होंगी? बिल्कुल नहीं. Guys, from the very beginning we are discussing this thing, that our essays need to be rooted in ground reality. टॉपिक भले ही फिलोसॉफिकल होगा, हमारा एसे फिलोसॉफिकल नहीं होगा. हमारा एसे काफी ऑब्जेक्टिव होगा, काफी कॉन्क्रीट होगा, सब्जेक्टिव नहीं होगा, ओपन एंडेड नहीं होगा. फाइन. रही बात रीडिंग फिलोसॉफिकल थिंग्स की. गाइज, फॉर एसे पेपर you don't need to prepare any content separately. If you are writing mains, or if you have even sincerely prepared for prelims, you have sufficient content to write a good essay. Please keep this in mind. When it comes to philosophical essays, more than content, crafting of the essay matters. How you craft the essay, how you keep the essay coherent, how do you keep the essay free flowing, how do you incorporate counter perspectives at their proper place, how do you link each and every paragraph to the main demand of the topic, how do you maintain organic linkage between subsequent paragraphs. So this crafting aspect matters in your essays more than content. Content आपके पास already होता है if you are a sincere candidate and if you are preparing already for your other years. ठीक है ललिता, clear? Bharat, you are raising hand.
Yes sir, as happened with Astha, same happened with me. I have just started my preparation. How do I start with?
Fine. Bharat, आपने अभी पढ़ना शुरू किया है.
Yeah.
You please ping me on Telegram. I'll respond, Bharat.
Pin means, can you elaborate?
Text करो मुझे Telegram पर, आप मुझे text करो. I'll respond. Okay guys, किसी का कोई doubt है? If there are no doubts left, we can end the session. Harshita, Abhishek, Sanjeev, Amit, Mohammad Hussain. From the beginning, Mohammad Hussain काफी सिंसियरिटी के साथ, काफी फोकस के साथ देख रहा है और समझने की कोशिश कर रहा है. कोई डाउट है हुसैन? आई थिंक कोई डाउट भी नहीं है हुसैन को, क्योंकि सवाल का जवाब भी नहीं आ रहा है. ठीक है.
Could you summarize all these points again?
Who's this?
Bharat.
हाँ, क्या समराइज करना है भारत?
Of all points you have tell in this session.
ना भारत, you have just started preparing for civils, right?
Yeah.
ठीक है. अभी एक बार समराइज करके या 10 बार समराइज करके फायदा नहीं होगा. These are the 5 golden rules that we need to keep in mind. जब अलग से आपके साथ में इंटरेक्ट करूंगा, तब that discussion would be more qualitative in keeping with your individual needs. Fine?
Okay.
Telegram पर कनेक्ट करते हैं. Amit, you are raising hand.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Amit.
Sir, how do we use the contradiction negation of the premise? How far should we go negating the premise?
Contradiction. Are you referring to counter perspectives, Amit?
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay. So as we have discussed, minimum 8 counter perspectives, minimum 1 paragraph countering the main premise, maximum 3.
Yes,
because if we The reason being, if we keep on giving counter after counter, it appears more of a digression from the main demand of the topic. And we don't want the examiner to think that the student is digressing from the main demand of the topic. ठीक है? Minimum 1, maximum 3. Yes, clear? Amit?
Yes, sir.
Harshita, you're raising hand.
Yes, sir. Sir, abhi I haven't written any essay till now. So can I get this copy of Shishir in order to take a reference before writing essay?
ठीक है, ये कॉपी आपको मिल जाएगी, टेलीग्राम ग्रुप में मैं शेयर कर दूंगा. बट डोंट टेक इट एज अ गोल्ड स्टैंडर्ड गाइस, प्लीज डोंट टेक इट एज अ गोल्ड स्टैंडर्ड. इस ऐसे को लिखने के बाद भी शिशिर ने इम्प्रोवाइज किया था. फाइन,
जस्ट अ रेफरेंस सर कि अगर उन्होंने कैसे लिखा एंड देन फिर हम कैसे.
ठीक है, आई शेयर द कॉपी.
थैंक यू सर.
फाइन गाइस, आई थिंक आप सबके डाउट्स एड्रेस हमने कर दिए हैं. वी कैन एंड द सेशन हियर. इफ देयर आर एनी मोर डाउट्स लेफ्ट, या आपको बाद में अगर कोई डाउट पूछना है, यू कैन ऑलवेज कनेक्ट विद मी थ्रू द टेलीग्राम ग्रुप. तो फाइन गाइस, लेट्स एंड द सेशन हियर. It was great interacting with you guys. Although कुछ ही लोगों ने अपना स्क्रीन ऑन किया था, उन्हीं के साथ मैंने डिस्कशन किया है. It was great interacting with you guys. Riya Chakravarti says thank you. Fine, thank you Riya. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Thank you sir.
Thank you sir.
Thank you, sir.